It was wonderful to see those sand martins. Now that hill in front is Brethen Hill, and there's a massive quarry on it. Apparently it's a volcanic intrusion, an igneous intrusion. It dates from the Ordovician. It's about 480 million years ago, around about 480 to 440 million years ago, and it's quarried now for some really hard rock. I'm trying to get by these without chasing them. If only they'd just swim to one side, I'd pass them by. Oh, that's interesting. They're just swum into my way, or flew into my way, I should say. Or maybe these two are going downstream anyway. Dipper. Hope to get to the ancient church. It's about a kilometre or so up here. Might actually pole. downstream now. It's a pity. I was hoping to see that little church. The signs on the bank says no access and there's no obvious way through, so I can only assume you can access it from the road. I sincerely hope it isn't the church that has stuck up those signs. That is one of the problems with England and Wales in particular, is the right to roam is very restricted and limited. It's even not clear if you're allowed to paddle most of the rivers. The river Severn is a navigation up to Poole Quay, and the Wye is a navigation. There's several parts of rivers that are a navigation through historic rights. But interestingly, there was some work done by the Reverend somebody or other, part of his PhD, in which he found that we actually have access to all rivers going back to the Magna Carta, recognized the historic right to paddle the river. It didn't give the right, it recognized the right. And since then, canoeists have largely taken the view that we'll paddle the river and see what happens. But nobody's gone to court over it, and it'll take a court, probably going up to the Supreme Court, to actually settle it. But nobody wants to make that move in case they lose. So the landowners don't want to, and the canoeists and wild swimmers and everybody else doesn't want to. So we just paddle it until the issue is forced, which actually has moved on from when I first started canoeing. There was a river access officer, and you had to contact them in order to get permission to go down the river, and that was in conjunction with agreement with the landowners. And it's moved on from there. It's been a progression. We now paddle and take the assumption that we can paddle as in a historic right until we're told we can't. But that, unfortunately, that doesn't cover land. So to access a river, you should only really be doing it by agreed access points or from public footpaths that are along the river. And unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be any public footpath around there. There is on the other side of the church leading up to the lane, and one going through that caravan park that was just there, but not one on the church side of the river, otherwise I would have gone. I still think it's a bit mean-minded to stick those signs up for the sake of what must have been 4 or 5 meters of land. And they must know that canoeists come down here, because otherwise why stick them up on the riverside? Yeah, pity. And that there, just to the right of the red bag, is my bivvy spot. It's going to be a good evening. Oh man. So I basically dehydrate my own stuff, and that's chili hot that I made in December 24, and then I put them in these Milo bags, but I don't seal the top so I can reuse them. But this is nice. Well, it's a bit dark now, but this chickpea flatbread and chili is actually quite nice. I'm going to get the bed out after this and go to bed, and then hopefully get up really early and set off. Not a bad spot actually. A nice little beach, a level place for me to bivvy out on. And then the river just down there, and it's forecast not to rain. Anyway, that's enough for today.